Great. So welcome everyone to the PTSD, stress, trauma, complex PTSD group energy healing that is free on Wednesdays. And the first thing I'm going to do is get started with clearing shock points. So imagine that I am standing at your feet if you are on a massage table or something like that. And just so you can stretch out on a couch and imagine that. You can still listen to this whole thing standing up if you want. I would not recommend driving, however. So just connect in to that energy field that is you and send it love and your attention. It needs your attention. It loves your attention. And imagine that I was at your feet, able to touch the soles of your feet. Just be the top half of your foot, basically. And the idea is to connect in with the start of the kidney meridian, K1. And you can imagine also that you have a golden grounding cord that is taking any excess energy down to the center of the earth where it can be purified and replenished and sent back up on the back side of the grounding cord through your body. Your spinal column is so good at distributing all of that energy through the body. So we're just moving old chi, old energy that's been stuck in the body. And anytime we've had a stressful experience this week, it gets stored in the body as a little mini trauma, or maybe not so many. And I'm just feeling for that group energy field to even out, because right now the left hand and the right hand, as I sense, there are very almost opposing beats. And I'm just waiting for that to come into center as we relax and ground. Very good. That's great. Take a deep breath in and let that go. Just send yourself some love. Great. Alrighty, and now the next thing that I'm going to do is to also connect in with your emotional stress release points and your K27. So the K27s are right underneath your collarbone. So if you see, my shirt is very convenient today. So here's the top and bottom of my collarbones, like that. And so right at the bottom of my collarbones, I can take my thumb on one side and two fingers together are a neutral ground, and touch those 2 points. So basically right below the sternal notch. And then the other two, again, fingers together, middle and index together. And they're coming about an inch above the eyes. And that's connecting in to that frontal lobe and allowing us to just calm the heck down. So you don't have to do it if you have your hands free washing a dog, for example. Don't know where I came up with that example, but just kidding. So if you have your two hands busy doing something else, don't worry about it. I'm holding it for you. Trust me, I got this. So just connect in. Again, you can work that golden grounding cord down to the center of the earth and release any old energy that's gone stale. Allow it to purify down there and come up the back side of the grounding cord and redistribute fresh energy to your body. And again, I'm just looking to feel that pulse evening out in the group energy field. And actually what I'm sensing right now is, and this happens a lot with people, where you can sense a pulsing in one side just fine, but the other it's like it's just been suppressed. It's been pushed down and ignored for so long that it sort of needs encouragement to be able to reconnect, to being able to be expressed, and for the field to fully reform for you. And I think part of it is, a lot of times we just keep going when life is hard. And we don't give ourselves the time and attention to just sort of sit for a moment afterwards and acknowledge, wow, that was a moment and that was hard. And, just say something like to your body, I appreciate you supporting me in that. Thanks. Thank you so much. You're really getting better and better and more strong and more capable of helping me stay present in the moment, body. And I really, really love you and appreciate you. I think that would help make some of the stuff that we go through in our lives easier. And the energy field is feeling very nice right now. So take a deep breath in and let that go. Great. Alrighty, so then the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Bun meditation. We're going to, hopefully you'll feel calm and grounded and centered enough that you can listen to the teaching that I have. I had a lovely teacher. I adored her. She was so amazing. But she would start first. And sometimes, like 20 minutes later, we would get to this exercise. And so I just want you to know we're 8 minutes in, right? So number one, yay for that. And number two, if you're stressed out too badly, you just can't listen. You can't take it in. You can't hear and absorb it. So that's why I do those two things first and then get into the Bun ASAP. So just a tiny story before we start doing the Bun meditation. And that is that I had to go to the bank this morning. I was under time pressure to get something done. I had sent money from my bank in Santa Barbara to a big bank from an IRA. And the transfer, the big bank had told me couldn't be done. They couldn't send the paperwork to my little bank. And so I had to go and do it myself. They gave me the address to send it to. And of course, the paperwork got to them, the check got to them, and they said, well, you didn't use our forms. Okay, so, and it has to be done within the week or it has to be sent back to the bank in Santa Barbara. Details are irrelevant of what I went through, right? How could this apply in your life though, right? So I knew that I had this at 10 o'clock I had to be back for. And I get there as fast as I can. I had another thing that also was time sensitive and this was the only day that I could do it. So off I go and the time doesn't go as we think it's going to go. The traffic never goes as we think it's going to go, etc. Right? How often is this scenario playing out for you? And I get to the bank and the guy at Fidelity decides that he's going to be a jerk and sort of read the riot act to the local bank, which wasn't fair. I got bad information. They did the best they could under their circumstances. There was no big deal, but there had to be the puffery, like, kind of thing. And I was sitting there and I could feel my physiology start to take off. And immediately, because I do this Bun meditation, I went right into it and used it at this situation in this bank. And I stayed totally calm and mellow because of this meditation. So what I'm teaching you is going to be involving breath holding. I'm going to actually do a little video about the breath holding versus regular breathing and what it can do for our physiology. I've done some research. There's some stuff that talks about how it improves athletic performance, but doesn't seem to be anything that's directly correlated to how it improves calmness. But in addition to athletic performance and capacity and sort of ease of being an athlete, it's also helping people who are not athletic become more athletic. It gives you, so if breathing is a thing that holds you back, like your lungs feel like exhausted and like you're coughing and there's like a bit of a copper taste or a metallic iron taste in your mouth, this is a sign that this kind of breathing, in my experience, might help you. So taking that information and making it a part of your daily practice so that when something stressful happens to you, you can go, oh yeah, that breath holding that Liz does, that'll be good. So anyway, let's get started. I'll put more information about the benefits of it into the video that I'm going to do. So I talked last time and I just used my fingers to make the paper clip, but as you can see, and this is not exactly accurate, your central channel actually rides in front of your spine. I did my best with what I had and at the time, and I didn't save the original, so I'm gonna have to figure out a new original that I can go back and do this too. So you'll notice the first chakra, second chakra, actually this is the third chakra. With this method, we skip the sacral chakra. So first and third and fourth is the heart, fifth is at the throat, and then we do the seventh. So we're skipping the sixth as well. The seventh is the crown chakra. So what we're doing is we're breathing in through the nose and it's coming around on the inside of the skull. They call it skull polishing, and then in front of the spinal column, and it's coming down. And it comes about 3 finger widths below the belly button. So if the belly button was right there, and you can imagine on a human, this is not full size, right? About 3 finger widths below the belly button, you're imagining the end of that paper clip. And the unfurled paper clip, or no, staple, that's what I want to say, a staple, right? So it's like a staple that you've, tried to open up a little bit. So first we're going to bring the breath in and we're going to imagine it coming down. And then we're going to send it energetically. So we're holding our breath while we reverse the energy of it and send the energy of the breath there while holding the breath. So energetically, you hold it as long as you are capable of, that is not stressing you. If you see stars, you've held your breath too long, don't do that. We don't want any stress on your body. Everybody is going to have a different length of time that they can do this. So when I call it, if you need to release, if you feel that you need to release sooner, please. I'm not trying to cause anybody any stress here, and you need to be in charge of your physiology because this is a process, it's a practice, it's not a perfection. And then the other thing to say is the more you do this, the more you'll notice you can hold your breath, the longer you can hold your breath. And the benefit to that is, well, for example, when people had COVID, they could have people tested to how long they could hold their breath and know that the ones who couldn't hold it very long were going to have more of a risk of having severe illness from COVID. So this is actually, doesn't it make sense that you would want to learn how to do this and have like a, however long, I'm sure there's like an age bracket for how long it would be like a healthy person to hold their breath. Wouldn't it make sense to kind of use this as a little type of exercise? Makes sense to me, right? So I'm going to go ahead and start calling that, right? So take a deep breath in, send the energy of that down to 3 finger widths below the belly button, and then hold breath while sending the energy back up to the crown. And when you're ready, you can release upwards as if it's purple smoke. And then just relax. And feel connected to your body and notice your body might might be starting to feel calmer already. And when you're ready, take another deep breath in. Send that energy down to 3 finger widths below the belly button and reverse while holding your breath, this time to the throat chakra, envisioning sky blue there. And when you're ready, this time when you release, the energy can be imagined to be 360 degrees all around your throat, front and back. Just like a big circle of that sky blue smoke. And just connect for a moment to your body and notice the progression of the relaxation response in your body. And when you're ready, take another deep breath in. Around the inside of the skull, down, 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 that staple, and energetically the breath gets stored here for as long as it's comfortable. Might be a second or two. I know people who surf that can hold their breath an incredible length of time. And again, 360 degrees on this plane around the heart when you're ready to release. And just relaxing in the body again. Sending loving, peaceful thoughts as you connect into these spaces that are safe to visit again. Now let's connect in to that third chakra. Taking a deep breath in, sending it around down the central channel, down to 3 finger widths below the belly button, keeping on with the breath holding as you energetically send the energy to that third chakra. Beautiful golden yellow light. And when you're ready, 360 degrees all around at that level of the third chakra. And again, finding joy in that third chakra region. And then when you're ready, take another deep breath in. This time sending energy down, 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 all the way to the first chakra and past it up to 3 finger widths below the belly button. And energetically holding the breath while you send the energy down here. So this is the first time that it's really stayed below that 3 finger width. It can feel a little different. And when you're ready, the energy will go downward into the ground, connecting in with Mother Earth. And then just take a moment, connecting in with the body, all the space and happiness that we feel as we connect in with the full extent of who we are. Sort of honoring the body in this way, right? Okay, and then we move on to, so this, because it's a basic group class, we're just going to be going over the same information again about the subconscious being a hero that's trying to save our lives. So we get told a story and we learn a story the hard way of like all of the times that these impulses that we have can get us in trouble. You know, things that we feel can get us in trouble. So we push down our feelings. We have to get through our day. But the reason why these issues come up is because it's using old rules that were set up mostly by the time we were 8, but there's a lot of programming that happens up until the age of 18. So it's a hero. Imagine that. Imagine that you have this resource within you that wants to partner with you, that has different levels of intelligence, and that the greatest level of intelligence is far greater than we as the conscious mind can ever be. It's that part of us has been shackled by the programming of the part that's wounded from our childhood. So this is an opportunity to connect in with the genius within and learn how the conscious mind and the wounded subconscious mind can step out of its way and call in our soul path, call in our best life, call in our happiness, give us direction on what we're meant to be doing here. And I, for one, have had my life completely turned around since realizing all of this. And the biggest part is being able to give the subconscious what it wants in order to have things change. Now, the other thing is that the subconscious has something called an upper limit problem, and this is from Dr. Gay Hendricks' book called The Big Leap. And he's a psychologist who's been in practice for decades. I think he's in his 70s now. And so the upper limit problem, basically what it's talking about is that we have a set parameter of what's supposed to happen according to the subconscious to keep us safe. Remember, it's trying to be a hero. And so it doesn't want us to suffer too much, and it doesn't want us to get too big for our britches, because we've learned, if we act all hot, people are going to put us down. And if we act too far beneath the lower part of the comfort zone, there's a risk of dying. And the subconscious is saying, no, this is unsafe, and this is unsafe. We might be laughed at and mocked or hated. So that ain't safe, that ain't safe. We're just aiming right in here. We've experienced this before. This is where it can keep us. That's its thought. And that's what it's always trying to revert to. And we can shift our upper limit problem so that we can get into what Dr. Hendricks calls our zone of genius. And so this is like our zone of competence, and this is our zone of excellence. And so we're trying to operate in here, just right in here in the sweet spot. And down below that would be, people that are just traumatized so much that they end up having addiction problems and can't cope and just end up giving up. So it's trying to keep us out of that as much as possible, unless it's too wounded. And then it thinks that, no, that's where we belong. And so it's keeping track, the subconscious is keeping track of what we deserve, what it believes we deserve. It's trying to say, no, I know the other sibling in the family was loved more. And if you do too well, your mom is going to be mean, or your dad's going to make some cutting remark because you're outshining the golden child. Or it might be that another, that kids who in the neighborhood who maybe they come from a home where both parents are there, and so they're more worthy, and so you're comparing yourself to them. Or maybe it's that you're comparing yourself to people in the town, and maybe you come from a race that's looked down on. And so all of these things are operating outside of your experience. It might not make any sense to you, but I'm telling you that we keep track of all of this stuff, and it can be holding you down as an adult. And you don't know why you're not getting what you're wanting to get as the conscious mind, but that's the reason why. That's the reason behind it. So we can totally befriend the subconscious, and I'm not talking about manipulating here. I'm talking about recognizing its capacity and its intelligence and its benevolence. If you had a friend, think about like all of the mean things that you ever say to yourself. And if you had a friend who is as mean to you as we've inadvertently been with our negative self-talk to our subconscious, I don't know that they'd be willing to team, but or continue the friendship, right? So they love this part of ourselves loves us. loves us and just wants our love and attention, and to help it fulfill its mission, which I believe is to learn feelings by feeling without judging. So then that plays into, if we give it what it wants, its side of the relationship, I believe is, it's the soul path is to, that we can learn the most here by learning feelings, and that then feeds back to soul growth. So it will allow itself to be rewired. The subconscious will allow itself to change as a result of learning that feeling. And that's, it makes sense on a personal level, because we're a social species. And if we don't experience things emotionally and learn from them in that greater part of our brain, it can't let go of the neurochemicals in the body. And these neurochemicals in the body in quantity are inflammatory, and inflammation can lead to disease. So it's a win-win by doing this. We're reducing physiological stress on the body of having all of these unprocessed emotions in the body. So we're reducing the risk of inflammation and disease. Theoretically, right? Makes sense to me. I'm not a doctor, but it does appear to be logical to me. So with that said, let's go ahead and find out what feelings are going to come up around this goal. And I didn't get any feedback about the goal other than last week was it was thought to be a good goal. So this is the goal that we are going to be working with. I allow my body and conscious mind to learn from and let go of old stress and trauma. I am allowed to feel calm. It is safe for me to feel calm and peaceful in my body. I sleep deeply through the night, knowing everything always turns out marvelously well. My relationships are easy and peaceful. I stay calm throughout my day, even when provoked. My higher power supports me fully in this. I deeply love all of my inner children who are stressed and traumatized, and who keep me from feeling calm and peaceful. I invite them home to my heart. And just to explain a little bit, by saying everything always turns out marvelously well, we're giving the subconscious a destination. Most of us who worry in the sense of a lack of destination. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me? That leaves, but it both scares the subconscious, which is like a child in a lot of ways, but and it also doesn't give it a positive direction to head in. So we're, by this goal, we're giving it a positive direction, and it's a good statement to say all the time. Anything goes wrong in your life, say, everything always turns out marvelously well, and you will see that things start to ease for you, because you're giving your subconscious a daily direction of positivity. Okay, and I deeply love all of my inner children who are stressed and traumatized and who keep me from feeling calm and peaceful, because it's important that we are not holding a grudge against their existence causing stress. These parts of us need our love and acceptance to be able to be integrated. So we're going to be integrating this layer. There's always more layers. We're going to be integrating this layer that we have in common for this goal. And let's go ahead. And I'm just checking the field to see what is coming up. And there's a feeling. It is, let me look it up. Yes. I just muscle test for numbers, and then I have a chart that I've created. Okay, this is feeling like unseasoned. So, a novice at something, untested. For example, if you're new in your career, this could be something that your subconscious needs to have come up in order to learn so that you can call in something better. If you are at a phase in your life where there's transition and you're worried about whether you can handle it, it would call that up. So this is a chronic feeling. Each emotion can be thought of in different ways. It can be an attached emotion where we get a benefit from it. It can be unexpressed, where we never allowed it to be felt. And somebody else's feelings, we pick them up. We pick up the group collective feelings. When something huge worldwide happens, we sense it. We empath sense it. Ancestral, we can have ancestral types of emotions. So this is chronic, one that just is often felt. I think it's probably also more often held onto by women than men. Men are taught that they have to just start acting as if, and they fake it until they make it a lot better than women do. Women are taught to look at our flaws and be perfectionistic, and it just grinds us to a halt. So now just notice in your body. You may not feel a thing and it still works, but if you do feel this is what's going on, just notice. Just notice from head to toe anything that you feel, anything that you sense, and this is all connected to your body learning. Isn't that a marvelous, miraculous thing? Give your body permission, tell it, you have my permission. Think it in your head or say it out loud. You have my permission to send me the feeling of being unseasoned. Because our bodies can be kind of afraid of us, afraid of our negative thinking about us. And so you might feel things like hot or cold, numbness or tingling, pressure or ease, movement or discomfort. This is all normal. Actually, potentially changing the fascia arrangement in your body, which can cause nerves to squawk. It's all good because it's heading into less dense fascia, more like the original fascia that you should have. But if a nerve has been pinched and suddenly it's released, then it gets more blood flow and you might get the sensation where you weren't getting it before. So take a deep breath in and let that go. Very good. And there's another feeling. Okay. This is somebody else's feeling. And I'm just looking it up. Always having to say yes. So feeling like you're not allowed to say no. And other emotions are often picked up when we're children, but they can happen at any time. But as children, we often pick up the fact that there's things that are non-optimal about our parents. Like there's some way in which our survival could be at risk because they're wounded in some way. And so we try to take on the feeling in order to, it ups our chances of survival. And I would say as children too, that we always feel like it's our fault. And that's a big reason why we're taking it on. But for most of us, we might not have a parent even who's alive anymore. And And even if they are alive, it's not to their benefit for their soul growth to take on their emotional energy. They don't end up growing in any way from that. So it's actually a disservice. So let's go ahead and have you connect in with your body, give it permission to send you this feeling of being unseasoned. You might just, as with all the emotions that come up, only be able to tolerate a drop before you need to tap out because it feels overwhelming, and that's okay. You're making progress. That's fine. And if you feel that you can trust me and trust your body more at this time, and you can handle 2 drops or 3 drops or a whole dropper full, or you just want to spring clean for your body, then you adjust how much you ask your body for. And I leave that to you. And as you do that, again, noticing in the body from head to toe, anything that comes up. Sometimes I'll feel things like an itch and then a tug on my toe. And sometimes I'll feel a muscle kind of thumping. All of that is normal. Your body's, it's like your body's taking notes. It's a little something here, a little something there. Oh yeah, I'll remember this by this muscle moving. And it's probably also releasing stored energy in a way that causes like a little quaking in a muscle, a little pulse or spasming in a muscle. And I'm just feeling for the field to even out. And there it goes. Take a deep breath in and let that go. Great. Alrighty. Let's see what else. So that's it for that. And I'm just checking to see if there's something hidden, and there is. Another emotion. Alrighty, so this one is somebody else's emotion too. Suspicious. So when we create a goal, we are, the reason why it works is that it stresses out the inner children. The inner children that are against the goal. And so whatever goal we have in life, in this case, it's for stress and PTSD and complex PTSD. So it's stressing out the inner children that are connected to wanting to continue to be stressed out, feeling like we might be at risk of death or misfortune if we aren't stressed. And if we had the goal come true, we might not have the opportunity ever again to learn these feelings. So we might not have the opportunity to learn the feeling suspicious in a deep way that the body needs to learn, or always having to say yes, or being unseasoned. So let's go ahead and connect in again to, perhaps as a child we had a parent who believed that other people were out to get us, and so but we knew, that we needed to connect to other people. So by trying to take that emotion on from a parent, then we would have a greater chance of connecting in with the outside world. So let's go ahead and let that go, because you're not living with your parent anymore, right? Or it could be These things show up with friend groups from childhood that were toxic, or if school was toxic, that's another place that would show up. So let's let these little ones release that emotional holding. Give your body permission to send you that information, and just noticing again from head to toe. And take a deep breath in and let that go. Great. Okay. And that takes care of that. And let's do, I'm going to remove negative energies. So I'm going to get quiet for a minute while I do that. Okay, and then the last thing is integrating inner children. So connecting in and imagining these inner children in a beautiful, safe place. And the sum of your experiences of the inner child add up to multiple inner children. This is normal. This is a psychological terminology. And you can read more about it in a book called Unraveling the Knot of Trauma. I'll have to look for the psychiatrist's name on that one. So as you're doing this and connecting in, imagine the older ones of the inner children taking care of the younger ones. And imagine that you can walk up to them and say, hello. Tell them, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you were here all alone. I came as soon as I heard. I'm you, all grown up. We've survived and we've thrived. Your home is in my heart. Come home to my heart. Then show them pictures of you between the ages of birth to the present day, so they know that you've made it, maybe 4 to 6 pictures. And when you get to the present day, ask them if they're willing to come home to your heart. And if the answer is yes, that's great. And if not, you might need to come back to this exercise and coax them. Let them know that you love them and that your higher power is more able to take care of them in your heart, which is the home of our integrated experience. All of our emotional experiences are integrated into our heart. We have neurons there for that purpose. So if they are ready to come home to your heart, go ahead and ask them to shrink down. They might want to become points of light, but they can be any image that you'd like. And just notice you might feel a sense of shimmering or vibration in your body, and that is your fascial train activating to allow the release of these inner children, these emotional particles of information and intelligence to head home to your heart. And just notice that as that moves through your body. And as you get the sensation that that's complete, you can take a deep breath in and let that go. And when you're ready, take another deep breath in. This time sending a buttery yellow light of self-compassion to every cell in your body. And when you're ready, you can take one last breath there. This time sending out love and gratitude to every layer of you that cooperated here today. Very good. Alrighty. So that does it for today. The goal is now testing as strong. And I'd love to get some feedback from you if you want to either turn your sound back on, turn your microphone back on. Let me know how that went for you. You can also turn on your video if you want. So how was that for you? Hi, JD.
Oh, hi, it was great.
Oh, good.
And like the one we did with saying no or being allowed to say no, I definitely felt that or being unable to say no and only being forced to say yes. Like that was really a powerful one.
Oh, good. Great. And Lisa?
This it was wonderful. This last part in particular, bringing the inner children home, I felt like my whole body was vibrating.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
I still have, it's just like, but it was so strong and it felt like it was coming from my heart and emanating out through my body.
Yay. I love hearing stories like that. Yeah, it's amazing how much we're holding, right? And we don't know until we take the time to just get back to our bodies.
Yeah.
And it makes our conscious life so much better too.
Well, and so interesting how everything seems to, I mean, the layers because you can't do everything at once and just, I mean, we did this last week and it affected me differently last week
Mm-hmm.
than this week. And I granted we're different emotions were addressed this time. But just interesting just as a whole experience.
Yeah.
How it unfolds.
Yeah. It's, we're ready when we're ready and not a minute before. So it's whatever, in general, yes, we're going to be raising our vibration more and more the more we do this. But some of the layers can feel pretty awful to go through. And so just sending it love and knowing that it's a way of making it feel better in the long run, and really not that long, like today we took about 50 minutes, but it's not that much of a time investment, and you can return to this, just like with muscle building. This state of mind that you feel right now it's a type of exercise to achieve it, and the more you do it, the more of that strength that you have within, and more resilience that you have that feeds over into every aspect of our lives, and the outcomes that come in, the clearings of trauma and the ability to move forward in your life. I was frozen before I learned all of these tools. So it's nice to share.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Well, and great to hear your story of just how you kept yourself from going, ooh, in that situation this morning.
Yeah. And so sometimes, like if you're talking to somebody directly and they're triggering you, then it's a different thing that you're having to do with that with that exercise, right? You having to take small breaths and hold, like just really small, and just imagining the whole thing. But she was this woman today from my bank in Santa Barbara was talking to somebody on the phone, and so I could I was behind plexiglass. I could take a big breath, and she didn't know at all. So I was just like,
Uh-huh.
happy hands, yeah,
Yeah.
smiley
But
face.
all the visualization you can do
Yeah,
behind the scenes anyway.
yeah. It was so wonderful to have that as a tool. So I did want to clarify how to best use it for you all. So I'm glad you got it. Yeah, that was why it came up, I'm sure. Teaching moment. Yeah. So, well, I guess that's it, ladies. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Liz. Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.